Okay, we're at Seminole Rest. This was a Timucuan site of a massive Timucuan village. Run the east side of Mosquito Lagoon. On the west side is Turtle Mound. So these people lived all over this area. There was a series of mounds north and south of this one. We're facing immediately east, directly east, I should say. And those mounds, when the European came through, were devastated. The others, I can't see. Oh, here we go. I'm trying to show this. This little sign here shows all the mounds. There were just tons of mounds that they know of. These don't include the ones that they don't know of. Anyway, in an odd twist of fate, I'm going to do this both about the houses, the two houses, and the family, European family that lived here, and the Timucuan mounds. So anyway, as we're looking forward right now, the rise in the ground is a mound. It's a midden. I didn't hear anything about there being burial mounds. These were trash mounds and or living mounds. Of course, as we know, if you live higher up, you live in Florida, the less you'll have to deal with mosquitoes. And I'm sure living in a stilt house on top of an 18 or 20 or 30 foot mound and would provide protection against some animals as well, not just mosquitoes. Of course, mosquitoes would have been the prime motivation, certainly. Here, Mr. Squirrel. So this is the big mound that's left. There were mounds, dozens and dozens of mounds on both sides of the river, the lagoon. And I'm not sure if it's the Halifax River or not, but they call this Mosquito Lagoon. The family named Snyder came here and bought this property from another European who owned it. And around the time the guy bought it, they were coming through, the companies were coming through to build railroad and roads. And they saw the mounds, the shell mounds, as an easy way to provide a bedding, a footing for their roads and their railroad. So rather than expend any effort on anything or any additional effort, they just devastated these mounds. And it's easy to blame them, but it's also understandable to a degree at the same time that they would have done that. Simply because they were trying to get the job done. This was easy, less expensive. I mean, they got shareholders, stockholders, whatever. But anyway, this one, in an odd twist of fate, the European who owned this house refused to sell it to them. They wanted to buy this ground for their shells, and he wouldn't do it because he wanted to preserve it. So that was pretty amazing and pretty unusual for the time. This is their main house. We can't go in it because of the China virus. That is their caretaker house over there, and it's built again on top of this midden mound, which the Timucuan lived on at some point in time. So we'll take a look at what we can see of it. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it would have had to have been built incredibly strong to withstand the hurricanes. I mean, we're a few thousand yards from the Atlantic. I mean, that's probably a hurricane right there, or the front part of it. There's hurricanes all over the place out there. So they would have seen a lot of devastation here. But this house withstood for more than 100 years now. Hey, how y'all doing? So it's pretty exciting to be able to visit this place. If you knew that you were going to make it through the hurricane, this would be a pretty cool place to have a hurricane. I mean, to see it come across the lagoon. That'd be pretty creative, pretty incredible, pretty neat. If you didn't know, it'd be scary as hell. Can't go in, like I said earlier, but you can go up to it. They've used the old time window technology instead of using modern windows, which is kind of cool. They're not original windows, of course, but they're built in the same fashion as the original windows. Some rain coming in for sure. Oh, I missed this the first time when I went with the photographs. There's some kind of an old foundation of a ruin of some kind. No idea what or how extensive, but I don't guess there's too much of it. But it's pretty neat. This is the caretaker's house, which I think is pretty cool. It's built a little smaller, of course, but it's in the same design. It's pretty neat. I don't know how many people would have lived here or anything like that. But pretty neat stuff. So again, all this that we're seeing here in front of us, the raised ground, these are all mounds. However many years old, archaeologists and historians are saying this particular area dates from 5 to 900 AD, but there's no reason not to assume that man before then wasn't here. Maybe not this level, but maybe down further. I mean, we know that man has lived on this coast for thousands of years. Millennia, as they say. Oh yeah, the other thing that I found fascinating, I love this, are these trees. I don't know what the heck they call them, but because of how they've grown over the years, and maybe even centuries, they grow like the wind blows them that way. There's no branches or leaves on this side. Everything blows this way because they're in constant, the force of the wind is constantly on them, either to a small degree or a great degree. So they just grow like that. You see them up further north on behind Matanzas. There's a bunch of them back there, but it's really neat. This is original. This is in the picture. That's original. It's in the picture. And that one too, I think. So wherever these trees are, they've been here for a long time. And Turtle Mound is over there somewhere. We were there not too long ago. I think last year maybe, or the year before.